He asked me at that point in time if I could do anything with flamethrowers against the pillboxes. I said, I will try. Much of what went on that day, I have absolutely no memory.
From the moment war came to the doorstep of the United States, Hershel Woodrow Williams was determined to serve his country. Specifically, he had his sights set on becoming a Marine.
That's what I wanted to be, and I have said jokingly many times, the Marine Corps uniform was so much more attractive, and they could get girls easier than those guys in those ugly Army uniforms, and I didn't want to wear that. Every Marine is trained to be a rifleman. And then others are trained with some other job. And we had trained, cross-trained, to where we were flamethrower operators as well as demolition people. So we could do either job. We could blow it up or burn it up, whichever they needed.
Hershel joined up with the 3rd Marine Division and headed to the South Pacific. There, the Allies were locked in a violent campaign to reclaim the lands the Japanese had taken in the wake of the Pearl Harbor attack. Through this campaign, Hershel would set foot on islands he had never even heard of before.
When I got overseas, I ended up on the island of Guadalcanal, which was the first island that the Marines had taken in the Pacific. Naturally, it was secure when we got there in late 1943, but in July of that year, we went to Guam and took Guam back from the Japanese. We stayed on Guam until early February of 1945. We were told we were shipping out. Nobody had any idea where we were going.
Hershel and the 3rd Marine Division were off to invade a small volcanic island from which the Allies would be close enough to stage attacks against the Japanese mainland. The island's name? Iwo Jima.
None of us, of course, had ever heard tell of it. They did tell us that it was small, and there's 20,000 of us on this ship. 2 other Marine divisions were already scheduled to land first. Reasonably, we thought, why would they need so many Marines? And we were told by the briefers that were briefing us that it probably would last 2 to 3 days. And then we'd be done. We'd go back to our tents that we left on Guam. But that didn't work out that way. The first night, after having lost so many the first day on Iwo Jima, we got word over the speaker that we were going in the next day.
The Japanese defense on the island was unexpectedly fierce, and the American casualties had far surpassed predictions. When Hershel and the 3rd Division hit the shore, they were met with an impassable wall of resistance.
We had encountered a large number of reinforced concrete pillboxes, and we couldn't bust through them. Every time we would try to advance, there were so many of them. They had all the field of fire because they're in a protected area. We're in an open area, and we were losing Marines very rapidly, but we needed to go forward in order to capture the island. My commanding officer asked for a meeting. We gathered in a whole huge shell crater. He asked me at that point in time if I could do anything with flamethrowers against the pillboxes. I said, I will try. He gave me 4 Marines. The Marines were to shoot at the pillbox, then I'm going to try to get flame inside so that we can eliminate the enemy within. Much of what went on that day, I have absolutely no memory.
Under constant enemy fire, Hershel advanced up the beach, successfully taking out one pillbox after another. When a flamethrower would run out, he returned to the rear of the American lines, grabbed another, and advanced again to the next pillbox. Hershel repeated this cycle for hours, miraculously, never receiving a single wound, but the Marines providing his cover fire would not be so fortunate.
2 of them lost their lives that day doing that, but I was able to advance with the help of other Marines. I was able to eliminate the enemy within 7 of those pillboxes. That gave us a way of getting through. And once we passed through that protective pillbox area, then we had the advantage.
After 5 weeks of ferocious combat and over 40,000 American and Japanese casualties, the Allies had finally taken Iwo Jima. The cost of victory was far greater than had been speculated, but recognizing that losses would certainly have been higher had it not been for acts of bravery like that of Hershel and the 4 Marines who protected him, Hershel's commanding officer recommended him for the Medal of Honor. When the war ended, Hershel was called back to Washington, D.C., where he and several other Medal of Honor recipients were congratulated by President Harry Truman. But Hershel, viewing his actions on Iwo Jima as simply part of his duties, was unaware why he had been invited to such an event.
There were 13 of us that day on the White House lawn. Until they read my citation, I had no idea why I was receiving it. 13 of us received the medal. I'm the last of the 13. They have all gone on, and it changed my life completely, of course.
Throughout the decades since receiving the medal, Hershel has remained a shining example of honor and humility, but he has never forgotten the 2 Marines to whom he believes the medal truly belongs.
I wear it in their honor. I'm just the caretaker of the medal because particularly those 2 Marines who sacrificed their life protecting me, they earned the medal more than I did. I'll just wear it in their honor and say I am the caretaker.
To this day, Hershel Williams continues to serve his country. Since 2010, the Hershel Woody Williams Medal of Honor Foundation has been establishing permanent Gold Star family memorials all across the United States. The memorials are dedicated to those who have lost loved ones in military conflict.
They lost part of themselves when they lost their loved one. And for relatives of those who sacrificed their lives, those relatives, they never have an opportunity to grow up together, and that vacancy is always there. We're here in this little community to dedicate a Gold Star Family Memorial Monument. Its purpose is to honor those Gold Star families who lost that loved one for our freedom.
Hey everyone, I'm Josh from Memoirs of World War II, and I just want to say thank you for watching this episode and also give you an opportunity to join up with what we're doing. We're dedicated to reaching as many veterans of the Second World War as we can, both here in the US and across the world, but we're running out of time. The youngest World War II veterans are in their 90s, and every day we're losing more and more of them. So here are 3 simple ways that you can join with us. First, consider supporting us through Patreon. Patreon is a subscription-based service that keeps projects like this one going. Second, you can share these videos with your family and friends. It's a great way to honor these veterans and get these stories out there. And finally, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you don't miss a single episode. Thanks again for your support, and thank you for watching.